You're not going to believe what just went down. You'd think that political beefs are reserved for Capitol Hill veterans, seasoned senators, or the usual cable news screamers. But no, this time it's Barron Trump who stepped out of the shadows and straight into the fire. And guess who lit the match? That's right, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Now before you roll your eyes and say, isn't Barron the quiet Trump? Oh no, not anymore. In a surprise keynote at a conservative student summit in D.C., Barron Trump, now a freshman at Georgetown, took to the stage with a tone that was anything but shy. No teleprompter, no fluff, just fire. And then he said it. He looked right into the crowd and declared, quote, "We need to stop pretending that politicians like Jasmine Crockett speak for the people. What they represent is not progress. It's a performative circus of race-first politics, where merit doesn't matter and victimhood is a brand." Dead silence, and then explosive applause. Within hours, clips of the moment were everywhere, from X to TikTok, from Fox to Reddit. The right called it bold. The left called it disgusting. And Jasmine Crockett? Oh, she called it personal. By 8 p.m. that same night, she was live on MSNBC, and she didn't come to play. "Let me get this straight," she began, eyes locked on the camera. "A kid who's lived his entire life in gold-plated elevators thinks he gets to define what the real people care about. Baby, let me introduce you to real life, where we don't have butlers, we have bills. Where we don't hide behind daddy's name, we earn ours." The anchor tried to shift topics. She didn't let him. No, we're not going to pretend this was some rookie mistake. That was strategic, that was calculated. That was a test balloon to see if the far right could use the youngest Trump as a new messenger. Well, guess what? I'm not afraid of baby billionaires who've never known a day of struggle. Boom. The internet went nuclear. And that was just day one. By the next morning, the headlines were split right down the middle. Fox News, Barron Trump speaks truth to power, liberals meltdown, MSNBC, Crockett claps back at platinum-privileged Trump heir, and Twitter, a total war zone. But behind the screens, things got even messier. Word leaked from Capitol Hill that Jasmine Crockett had submitted a formal ethics inquiry, not into Barron himself, of course, but into the funding behind the student summit where he delivered his speech. According to her office, there were credible links to PACs aligned with far-right dark money groups, some of which had already been flagged for pushing extremist content. On Instagram Live, Crockett didn't hold back. "If y'all really think this wasn't coordinated, then bless your heart," she said, brushing her hair back like she was just getting started. "This is chess, not checkers. They're trying to rebrand the Trump dynasty with clean skin and Ivy League clothes. But the message? Still dirty, still dangerous, still disrespectful." And then she dropped the line that would be quoted on every chyron from CNN to Comedy Central. "You can dress up white privilege in Gucci loafers, but it still smells like entitlement." Boom. Mic drop. Meanwhile, Barron's camp was scrambling. No official response came from the Trump family, but conservative influencers began circling the wagons. Some said Crockett was punching down. Others accused her of bullying a college kid. But Jasmine didn't flinch. On the readout, she doubled down. "Don't come for me if you don't want me to answer. He stood on a stage and threw shots at me in front of thousands. I'm not going to pat him on the head and say, 'Nice try, Lil Trump, he's in the game now.' That means he gets to take the hits too." Even Joy Reid looked surprised. "So, you don't think he deserves any kind of pass just because he's young?" Jasmine shot back with fire in her eyes. "Young? He's 19. Old enough to vote. Old enough to speak. Old enough to be held accountable. If you're bold enough to run your mouth like a man, be bold enough to face the consequences like one." And just like that, Barron Trump was no longer the quiet one. He was officially in the arena. And Jasmine Crockett? She wasn't just defending herself anymore. She was turning this into a national conversation about class, race, dynasty, and what happens when the children of power try to lecture those who've had to fight for everything. And the fight? It was just getting started. By Friday afternoon, it was no longer just a feud. It was a cultural moment. TikTok edits were flying. Barron's speech cut with Jasmine's clapbacks. The whole thing set to trap beats and dramatic zoom-ins. Memes flooded Reddit, Instagram, even Facebook groups with names like Auntie Jasmine's Army. One image of her saying, "If you speak like a man, get checked like a man," hit 1 million shares in under 24 hours. And then, the Trump machine responded. At exactly 3 p.m., a statement was posted on Barron Trump's official Instagram story. Simple white text on black background. No tags, no hashtags. It read, "Respectfully, Congresswoman Crockett is proving my point. She talks about privilege, but uses her platform to belittle a student. I won't be intimidated. I will continue speaking out. Barron Trump." Oh boy, that did not land the way he hoped. Crockett immediately took to X, formerly Twitter, and lit up the internet like it was the 4th of July. Student? You mean the 6'7" nepotism graduate with Secret Service protection and a trust fund bigger than the GDP of small countries? Let's be clear, sweetheart. You weren't being intimidated. You just weren't ready. Hashtag Try Again Junior. The hashtag Try Again Junior started trending within an hour. Celebrities jumped in. Cardi B posted a reaction video laughing hysterically. She ate. This the type of congresswoman we need. But while the internet laughed, behind the scenes, things were turning serious. Sources from within Democratic leadership confirmed that Crockett's team was now reviewing campaign donations to student conservative groups nationwide, searching for hidden political pipelines, and using Barron's speech as Exhibit A in what they're calling Operation Smokeout. That night on CNN, Crockett was interviewed live in studio. When asked if she regretted anything she said, she didn't even blink. Regret? She scoffed. The only thing I regret is not speaking louder, because for every Barron out there thinking he can coast on a last name, there's a young black girl somewhere being told she's too much for speaking truth. Well, guess what? I am too much, and I'm just getting started. The crowd in the studio, yes, even on a cable news show, burst into applause, and that's when the real twist hit. On Fox News later that night, one of Trump's longtime aides made a quiet but deliberate comment. Barron is being groomed for something bigger, she said. The family's testing the waters. Wait, what? Was this not just about Jasmine Crockett anymore? Was this the beginning of a political rollout? Because if it was, they picked the wrong woman to test it on. Jasmine wasn't backing down. She was now positioning herself as the firewall against a second-generation dynasty, and the country was listening. By the start of the next week, the stakes had grown. This wasn't just a media brawl anymore. This was political theater at its sharpest and its ugliest. The House Oversight Committee, already embroiled in budget disputes, found itself dragged into the spectacle after Representative Matt Gaetz made a backhanded comment on the floor, saying, "Some members of this chamber are more interested in clapping back on Twitter than legislating for the American people." Everyone knew who he meant. And Jasmine? She didn't wait a single news cycle. That night on MSNBC's The Last Word, she answered in full color. "Oh, I legislate, baby. I legislate so hard they keep trying to silence me." She leaned forward into the camera. "But let me say this clearly. If Matt Gaetz and Barron Trump are uncomfortable with me, that's not a problem. That's a pattern. It's a pattern of silencing black women who don't shrink for their egos, and I refuse to shrink." And while her words were powerful, it was what happened next that shocked Washington. A leaked video surfaced. Barron Trump at a closed-door fundraiser in Palm Beach, caught on a hot mic joking, "Crockett's just mad she didn't get invited to Mar-a-Lago can't-buy class." The backlash was instant. Major columnists, even conservative ones, called it tone-deaf, juvenile, and dangerous. The Daily Beast ran the headline, "Barron Trump finds his voice, and it's arrogant as hell." But Jasmine didn't gloat. She strategized. The next day, she stood on the steps of the Capitol and delivered what was called the Enough speech, a fiery 7-minute statement broadcast live on multiple networks. "I don't care about your golf courses or your inheritance. I care about the people who can't afford a doctor. about the single mom working 2 jobs while y'all throw shade at charity dinners. You don't intimidate me, and I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to hold the damn line. She paused, then added with steel in her voice, "If you think I'm loud now, just wait till I'm chairing a committee." Reporters stood stunned. Even hardened Hill veterans admitted she was electric. Within 24 hours, donations to Crockett's re-election campaign tripled. A viral GoFundMe titled "Send Jasmine to the Senate" crossed $500,000 in a weekend. Meanwhile, the Trump camp tried damage control. Barron's team released a sanitized statement claiming the Mar-a-Lago joke was taken out of context and never intended to offend. But the damage was done. CNN hosted a panel featuring black female lawmakers from across the country, each one backing Crockett, each one bringing their own stories of being dismissed, ignored, or mocked by the political elite. "This isn't just about Barron," one said. "It's about the ecosystem that made him think that was okay." And that's when it became clear Jasmine Crockett had struck a deeper chord. This wasn't just a generational clash. It was a class war. It was a battle of experience versus entitlement. It was someone who earned her voice confronting someone who inherited a microphone. And America was watching with popcorn in hand. And then came the debate. It wasn't planned, it wasn't on any calendar, and it sure as hell wasn't sanctioned by the RNC or DNC, but it happened because America demanded it. CNN arranged a special town hall, Gen Z versus the establishment, featuring young political voices, student activists, and yes, Barron Trump. What they didn't expect? Jasmine Crockett showing up uninvited, mic'd, ready, and walking straight to the front row. The moment Barron took the stage, the tension could be cut with a knife. He kept his tone measured, rehearsed, said things like, "It's time for new voices. America's tired of legacy politicians." But then the host saw her, Jasmine, and asked the question America had been waiting for. "Congresswoman Crockett, since you're here, would you care to respond?" And that's when it all changed. She rose, calm, poised, and walked right up to the stage, audience frozen in suspense. Barron turned, their eyes locked. And she said, "Let me teach you something, baby." The crowd gasped. "You say America's tired of legacy politicians? Then what exactly do you think you are? Your legacy incarnate. You walked into this world with your name embroidered on hotel towels. But here's the thing. You can't brand leadership. You can't buy experience, and you damn sure can't inherit authenticity." The room was dead silent. Even Barron blinked. Crockett took a step closer. "I was raised in a house with no silver spoons. I earned every degree, every vote, every second of my voice. And you're trying to go viral with talking points your daddy's ghostwriters fed you. But let me be real clear, sweetheart. Clout isn't credibility." Thunderous applause, cheers. Even some conservative panelists couldn't help but nod. She turned to the moderator and, without waiting for permission, closed it out. "This country doesn't need another Trump playing dress-up in democracy. It needs truth. It needs courage. It needs fire. And it needs women like me who don't ask for a seat at the table. We take the mic and flip the damn table when we have to." Mic drop. Literal. Mic drop. The clip hit 15 million views in 24 hours. Hashtag Jasmine versus Barron trended for 3 straight days. SNL spoofed it. TikTok remixed it. Instagram turned it into gospel. And Barron? He vanished from the media spotlight for weeks. Rumors swirled that Trump advisors told him to lay low and rethink future appearances. But for Jasmine Crockett, it was just another day in the arena. Another battle fought. Another line drawing him seen, thinking they could come for her without consequences. She didn't just clap back. She took the moment and made history. And America watched her do it with pride. So, if you made it this far, you already know. This is not your typical political coverage. This isn't sanitized sound bites or Sunday morning fluff. This is real talk, raw heat, and the kind of stories they don't want you to hear. Jasmine Crockett just owned Barron Trump on a national stage, and you heard every second of it here. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, if you want more exclusive breakdowns, political clashes, and viral moments, straight, unfiltered, and bold, then don't just watch. Join the movement. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and ride with us, because next time, you don't want to hear about it secondhand. You want to be first.